Okay, good afternoon. We are live on YouTube and we are reaching you from the Wumba Center for Leadership Development in Africa. My name is Remy Chukwunyere. I am the Executive Director on behalf of my boss, His Excellency Wumba Uchigosu. I welcome all of you to this important session on Introduction to Entrepreneurship by our partner, our advisor, and also the a highly experienced business leader with almost 15 years of progressive multi-sectoral expertise spanning various sectors, including oil and gas, extractive industry, gender-less investing, international development, non-profit management, financial inclusion, and entrepreneurship. Weyinmi has been involved in several national and international projects that have played vital roles in the development of both public and private sector institutions in Nigeria and across Africa. As a woman that is passionate about the inclusion of women in economic development, she is she was currently she was recently appointed the Pioneer Director General, Women Chamber of Commerce, Industry, Mines and Agriculture, which is Nigeria's foremost women chamber of commerce. She is also the founder of Wevo Foundation, a community-based platform that supports female breadwinners. Weyinmi is an Acumen West Africa 2022 Fellow, a MIA Global Leadership AI Fellow, a StartingBloc 2019 Social Innovation Fellow, and Regional Chair for West Africa. She's also a World Bank Scholar, Orange Knowledge Program Scholar, and a Cherie Blair Foundation Scholar. So great African students. I can see that you can get with me that this is a rich profile. And that's why we have decided to bring her today to speak to you about introduction to entrepreneurship. Like I said before, entrepreneurs are people that build businesses that solve the problems of the people, in any given society. So, ladies and gentlemen, join me and welcome to the platform the number one woman entrepreneur in Nigeria, Weyinmi Eribo. Thank you and welcome to the platform, man.
Thank you, Mr. Remy. Thank you for the introduction. Good evening. What's the time? Good afternoon, everyone. So sorry. It's been, I want to start by apologizing for yesterday. I'm really sorry that I couldn't be here. I was scheduled for a meeting that was supposed to be earlier, but it kept dragging and it wasn't done in time. So I want to start by apologizing for that. I hope that I'm forgiven. Today we're talking about, Mr. Remy, please, I sent you my slides to share. I can't seem to figure it out here. But today we'll really be talking about introduction to entrepreneurship, something that is really exciting for me. Exciting because I love the idea of entrepreneurship. I know I've also been, or I'm also an entrepreneur as well. But there's one thing to be an entrepreneur. There's one thing to, constantly live in an entrepreneurial mindset, which is really just thinking about, you're always thinking about solutions. You're always thinking about a better way to do things. You're always thinking of better ways to solve problems. So really that's what we're going to be talking about today. The idea behind today's conversation is really just to equip you with some knowledge and tools that you need to become a successful entrepreneur. Entrepreneurship is not a one-day thing. It's a constantly evolving mindset. It's a constantly evolving landscape. So some of the things that you hear here today are things that will really just guide your mind towards thinking around entrepreneurship. I think before we start, I just want to ask: is there anyone who has ever started a business here? Have you put your hands into entrepreneurship in any way? What are you currently doing? If you can't speak, you can use the chat box. I think we can do that. Victoria, thank you. I celebrate you too. Do we have anyone who has? Mary, have you started a business before? What business do you do? Mary, what kind of business? Okay, pastries. You were making pastries. Is that saying that you have stopped? Why? Is there anyone else who has delved into business, entrepreneurship? Okay. Mary, maybe after today's class, you start again. Fashion designer, fantastic. Oh, you're in a private school. Okay, okay, okay. I get that. I get that. So when you're back on holiday, you should continue. So we have fashion, we have pastries here, which is great. Um, okay, so I think we can start today's conversation. It's not a completely novice class. Mr. Remy, please, next slide. Okay, so what is entrepreneurship? It's really the idea behind starting and running a business. And it involves identifying opportunities, developing innovative solutions, and building a sustainable enterprise. So, like I said earlier, it's one thing to start a business. It's one thing to run a business. It's one thing for that business to be profitable, right? And that's where the spirit of entrepreneurship comes in. Sometimes entrepreneurship, I know a lot of times people always feel like, oh, if you want to be an entrepreneur, you have to start something new. You have to start something that someone else has never done before. Not necessarily. Sometimes the idea behind entrepreneurship is actually innovation. How are you ensuring that you're doing something that has been done before, but you're doing it in a more um, you're doing it in a better way, right? So one of the first keys of entrepreneurship is actually innovation. Entrepreneurs are driven to create new products, new services, or processes that address the unmet needs. Sometimes something is already in existence, but it's not being done properly. And I'll give an example. Um, we've seen what has happened recently in the logistics business, right? All of a sudden, you can sit in your house and order a ride or order a bike to come and pick up something. I'll share something that happened this morning. I was coming from Lagos, and yesterday night, I realized that because I had to leave very early, I needed to book a taxi ahead of time. And somebody mentioned, oh, try Uber. Uber does it. So I went on Uber at 12:30 in a.m. early in the morning, and I booked a ride in advance for the taxi to get to my accommodation at 4:50 a.m. What they did with that was the only thing was you weren't allowed to book a cash ride. You had to put in your card so that they are sure that you're a serious person. But at 4:50 a.m. on the dot, a driver called me that they were outside my house. Now, this is even innovation within innovation. First of all, the Uber idea is already an innovative, business model. But they've added an extra level to say that you can book something ahead of time, which is bringing more convenience. So even what they were doing before, they realized that it wasn't as there were still unmet needs within that system that they could make better. So that's what really innovation is. So sometimes when you're thinking through entrepreneurship or you're thinking through a business that you want to start, it doesn't always have to be a new idea, but it's really just you bringing a new way, into doing what you want to do. So innovation is extremely important when you're thinking through entrepreneurship. Another major thing about entrepreneurship is that you must be a risk taker. You cannot be very comfortable and be an entrepreneur. It really involves taking calculated risk or venturing into uncharted territory. And uncharted territory is really just trying to do something that nobody else has done before. An example is Airbnb. Nobody had done it before. The most that you had were hotels. Nobody was using their houses, right? But these days, anybody in Nigeria, in any part of the world, can use their house or use even a room in their house, right, as Airbnb, and you're making money
Yes,
with
ma'am.
that. Sometimes it's more riskier than that.
Ma'am,
Sometimes, please, if you're not speaking, or mute your mic.
thank
Sometimes
you.
it involves
See, the thing choco.
sometimes it involves venturing into ideas or venturing into opportunities that you may not even have had any experience in. A lot of times when we start businesses, we actually start business from a place of passion, something that you're used to, something that you know how to do, something that you enjoy. But other times it might actually be something that you had no idea about, but it's just you've seen that there is a need, you've seen that you have you have the passion, you have the skill sets, and there is the opportunity for you to venture into that, and then you take it. So not every time, being in your comfort zone. A lot of entrepreneurship is actually taking risk and moving into places that you may not have had any experience before. And then, of course, leadership. You have, first of all, as an entrepreneur, you have to have the quality of leadership and leading yourself first before you even think of leading other people. And what I mean by that is you must be very intentional about your goals. You must be very intentional about your vision, because people will only buy into your vision after you have made it clear. People will buy into your vision after you are able to sell your vision to them. So you must know as a person that there's nobody that's going to wake you up at 6 a.m. if you have a program at 6:30. You have to wake up by yourself. You're not going to sit down and be waiting for somebody to call you up or waiting for somebody to provide resources for you. You will go outside and you go and look for it. And that leadership starts from yourself. You must be a self-leader first before you can then translate that into other people that eventually will work for you. The idea is when you're starting a business or you're going into entrepreneurship, it's not really just about yourself, because eventually you're going to have staff. A lot of times you might start the business by yourself, but you're actually going to go into a place of leadership where you're going to be working with people and sharing your vision with people. So leadership is extremely important. And then resilience. This one, first of all, if you're in the world right now and you don't have resilience, you can't even be here, because every day something is changing. Every day something is changing. There will be setbacks. You will face challenges, but you must have resilience. You must have the determination to overcome those obstacles as they come, which is really why you're an entrepreneur in the first place. Because as obstacles come, you need to find the opportunities within those obstacles. You need to find the opportunities within those challenges. You need to think of innovative ways of overcoming those setbacks and ensuring that your business is able to move on. Mr. Remy, next slide, please. So when you're thinking entrepreneurship, innovation, risk-taking, leadership, resilience are things that you cannot take away. Now, just to discuss a little bit about the entrepreneurial mindset, like I said at the beginning, it's one thing to be an entrepreneur, but it's one thing to have an entrepreneurial mindset. Sometimes you start a business or even as human beings, you tell yourself, oh, that's how I am. I cannot change. That's how I am. You cannot be a that's how I am kind of person and be an entrepreneur, because the world is constantly changing. The entrepreneurship landscape is constantly changing. Business models are constantly changing. So it's extremely important that as you're thinking through entrepreneurship, your mind must have some of these mindsets that we're just about to talk about. There's the growth mindsets. You must always continue to look for opportunities to learn, opportunities to do things better, and see setbacks as stepping stones. It's one thing, like I said, to say, oh, this is how I know how to do something, but being open in your mind to know that there might be a better way of doing it. And that's where the growth mindset comes in. You have to constantly think of ways in which you can improve, constantly think of ways in which you can improve, not improve yourself, first of all, as a human being and as an entrepreneur, and then improve your business. So improve your business processes, improve your business systems, and ensure that you're doing things the best way that they can. And the beautiful thing about growth mindset is there is the appreciation of where you are right now, right? There is the appreciation of this is what I know how to do now, and this is what I can start with. So that's a really good place. But you must always know that there's a potential for something else to be done in another way, in a better way. And you should be open to that, which is where the growth mindset comes in. Always think ahead, always think of ways and better ways in which things can be done, better ways in which you can solve problems for people, better ways in which you can find opportunities within the challenges that exist, and really just use all of those setbacks as stepping stones. And then you must always think problem solving. Like I said, it's one thing for you to constantly see the problems, but it's one thing for you to be able to see the opportunities within those problems. No matter how bad a situation is, no matter how scary a situation is, there's always an opportunity there. Are you patient enough? Are you open enough to actually see that there is the potential of solving a problem? There is a potential of doing things better within a challenge that you see. So how do you sit down and think of it and think of better ways, to solve problems? How do you think of better ways to identify unmet needs within the problem? Like I just shared about the Uber thing and, them still improving on their process and ensuring that, something that they saw that was a gap in their business model, they were able to solve it, right? So it's extremely important that you're thinking problem solving. You're always thinking problem solving. It's hard. It can get hard. I won't even deny when it feels like everything is just going wrong, but sometimes you also need to find a way to step back and just look at it. How do I solve this problem? what is a different way to approach this? What else is different I can think through in terms of this particular problem that is in front of me? And sometimes this problem may not necessarily be for only you. Like I'll give an example. We've had situations where businesses have come up from, somebody going to the hospital and not being able to maybe meet a nurse immediately. And then somebody decides, that person, after that happens, decides to go back and say, oh, you know what, there's a way that I can build an app that will connect, women or men to particular kind of nurses or doctors that they want. And, that really just solves the problem. We have apps now that are connecting people to, pharmacies and the rest. So you don't need to go into a pharmacy. They can actually bring the drug to you, right? This kind of thing comes from as a result of maybe somebody had an older parents that didn't necessarily, and they were probably not in the same city. I can get into that app right now and then decide that, every month, please deliver XYZ, drugs to my parents, and they're paying for it. So the parents don't have to go anywhere. They don't have to stress themselves. Their drugs are being delivered to them. So you must always think problem solving in every situation that you find yourself. What is the better way for me to do this? What is a, different way for me to approach this? And then of course, adaptability is extremely, extremely important. Like I said, you cannot sit down in any place and say, oh, this is how I know how to do it. The world will leave you behind. We've seen that BlackBerry is not even in existence. I don't even know if you people on this call even know BlackBerry, but BlackBerry is not in existence anymore. Nokia 3310 is not in existence anymore. I know that Nokia really struggled with this evolution when iPhone came and Samsung, but you see how Samsung and iPhone have been very flexible with everything, every change that is coming. They are adapting. They're adapting to the needs of people. They're adapting to the needs of their customers. They're adapting to the economy as well. So it's extremely important that you think about adaptability. You must be flexible and willing to adjust your plans based on feedback and market trends. And then persistence, resilience, both of them go hand in hand. You can, once you start, you just have to keep going. You have to keep going as long as it makes financial sense. You have to keep going, because sometimes there's sometimes where you get to a point where you know that, look, this business just has to close. That's a completely different conversation. But persistence and perseverance are keys to entrepreneurial success, and you cannot be a successful entrepreneur without them. I'll give an example. During COVID, we saw what happened to a lot of businesses. Not a lot of businesses have been able to come back since after COVID. Not a lot. But for those people who were persistent, who were flexible enough to move their businesses online, get websites, start using social media, their businesses have been able to maintain themselves. Some of them even grow, right? So it's extremely important that you are able to think through growth mindsets. You are able to think through problem solving. You remain adaptable, and persistence is your watchword. Next slide, please. Now, one of the major things of being an entrepreneur, major characteristics of being an entrepreneur, is actually identifying opportunities. And in thinking through identification of opportunities, it really just involves you observing trends. So what is currently ongoing? What are people currently doing? What are people currently engaged in? What do people currently enjoy? What are people complaining about? What are people saying is a challenge to them? How can you understand your customers' needs? When a customer comes to you to buy a product, do they come back and they complain about a particular thing? Do you take that feedback? What do you do with that feedback? And how do you recognize the gaps in the market? You must be able to identify opportunities where they are possible. For Mary, who is in a private school, I don't know how it works, but if there's an opportunity for, say, students are complaining, or you find out that, you have some students in your school who actually like the kind of pastries that you make when they're at home and you guys live around each other. When you're in school, then you can already begin to start taking orders. If they have birthdays that are falling outside of school, are you still sharing with them what you do? Are you ensuring that you're taking advantage of that opportunity that presents itself? When they are talking about pastries and cakes, what kind of things do they like? When you are home, can you test one out and send to them and say, you know what, try this and let me know what you think about it? You must be very intentional about trying to observe the trends. What are people talking about? If there's a business that has recently come and has taken over, what are they doing differently? What can you do differently? So it's extremely important. And in thinking through that, you must think market research. Market research really just involves industry trends, competitor analysis, customer segmentation. which is really industry trends. What is going on in this industry? So for somebody who is a fashion designer, what kind of things are people beginning to wear? You notice now that we have a lot of rich mommy vibes everywhere. So people like boo-boos, right? People are beginning to really like comfortable clothes. People are beginning to like some stones on their clothes. People are beginning to like some, razzmatazz around their clothes and all of that. People are going more colorful these days. As a business owner, as a fashion designer, are you beginning to understand what that looks like? Are you beginning to switch to your designs and, just incorporate some of those things that people are beginning to really enjoy into your business? It's extremely important to understand what's going on in your industry per time. What are those challenges that people are talking about? Everybody complains about tailors and how they don't bring clothes for people at the right time. Is there a way that you can solve that problem? Can you think about creating an app that matches, customers to tailors that are close to them, or tailors that give a particular kind of design? So it doesn't necessarily have to be you doing it. You can create a platform that really enables, the gap that you have seen. So thinking about industry trends is extremely important. Competitor analysis, like I said, what is the next person doing? How are they doing it? How can you do it better? Please, I'm not saying competitor analysis in terms of going to copy what your neighbor is doing. That's not innovation at all. That's not entrepreneurship. Copy and paste is not entrepreneurship. Competitor analysis is just understanding what they are doing and how you can do it better. What differentiates you from the next person? What is your unique selling point that person cannot bring that you are bringing to the table? As a fashion designer around you, the tailors around you, or the fashion designers around you, do they offer, personal home delivery services? Do they offer, laundry services as well that you can add as add-ons to what you're providing? Do you have services that say after 2 months, if any button falls off, we'll repair it free of charge for you? What can you do differently that makes people want to come back to you? That's where competitor analysis comes in. You need to know what's going on in the space and how you are operating based off, all the other people within that place that are doing the same thing. But how are you doing differently? What makes the next customer come back to you? One of the things you use to mark yourself as a successful entrepreneur is when you have repeated customers, when customers keep coming back to you. Not every day new customers. If your business is having new customers every week and no old customer is coming back, please check yourself. There's something going on that you're not seeing. So it's extremely important that you're able to understand what the competitor is doing and how you can do it better. And then, of course, customer segmentation. You cannot be all things to everyone as a business person. Some businesses, yes, but not all businesses have that opportunity. So what customer segmentation are you serving? Are they women? Are they men? Are they men? Are they boys or girls? Of what age range? What income level? Where do they stay? Are you doing products for the masses? Are you doing products for the elites? Are you doing niche products? Are you doing mass products? It's extremely important to think around your customer segmentation, because that also helps you when you are thinking through, your business models and how you want to be able to serve the customers that you serve. Another important thing in helping to identify opportunities is recognizing problems. It's extremely important. Where are the inefficiencies that you see that exist? Where are the unmet, where are the gaps that you are still seeing, and how can you close those gaps? It's extremely important to think through inefficiencies, but as you are thinking through inefficiencies, you are thinking through the solutions to those inefficiencies. We know that there are people that is only problem that they see. That's not an entrepreneur. As an entrepreneur, yes, you will see problems, but you will also see solutions that help you want to run through those programs, problems at the end of the day. And then accessibility issues. How can people get to you, or how can people get to a product? What is the best way? With this one, the easiest thing to describe it is logistics, and how logistics has just boomed since COVID. How do people get to their products? How do you get to where you're going? Uber, Bolt, InDrive, all of these other things are beginning to really solve accessibility issues. So what can you do around that? What service can you also think through that serves Uber, that serves Bolt, right? So it's one thing to serve the customer, it's one thing to serve the business that serves the customer, because they are B2B businesses, they are B2C. So B2B is business to business, and then B2C is business to customer. So how are you thinking through all of this? Are you serving the customer directly, or are you serving a business that serves the customers? So you must think through, accessibility issues and who is using what, and how can whatever anybody is using get to them at the end of the day. And then outdated solutions. Please, if you find something that's not working, can you bring a new way to think about that? And in thinking through outdated solutions, you then think about innovation. How do you develop creative solutions that address these identified needs and offer unique value propositions. Unique value propositions is really what makes you special. What are you bringing differently to the table? So when you have identified inefficiencies, when you have identified accessibility issues, when you have identified outdated solutions, what new ways do you want to then put in to address these problems? How are you going to ensure that you are able to bring in new ideas, new technology, new ideology, to be able to address some of these issues that we see? Next slide, please. Now, to be able to start anything, you have to plan. There's a saying that he who fails to plan plans to fail, right? So business planning is something that is extremely important. And in just thinking through your business plan, what you want to think through is there are certain things that you must think through when you're trying to put a business plan together. Now, I know that a lot of conversations have been had about business plan and the importance of business plan, and people only do business plan when they are going to look for money or where they are going to pitch their business or something. But the business plan is really for you. It's really for you to understand your business. It's really for you to understand what you're getting yourself into. It's really for you to, take time to actually put on paper this business idea that you have and how you want to execute it. So in thinking through a business plan, there are certain things that you want to think about. The first will be the executive summary, which is really a concise overview of your business idea, of your target market, your key goals, what you want to achieve. What is this business about? What problem are you trying to solve? How are you solving the problem? What new ideas are you bringing on? How are you addressing some of the unmet needs that you have identified? That's what your executive summary will cover. And then, of course, your market analysis. I know that I have in-depth research here, but start from where you are. Sometimes, we're looking for perfectionism and it really just cripples us. So start from where you are, even if it's 5 or 6 businesses that you've seen that are doing what you are doing, or even if there's no business that you've seen that is doing what you are doing, but you've seen a need. What is this market analysis that you have carried out on the industry trends, the competitors? What are they doing? What is currently on ground is what market analysis speaks to. And then your product or service description. This is where you now go into a detailed description of your offerings, a detailed description, highlighting the features and the benefits and the competitive advantage that your business is bringing to the table. For you as a business person, is really just understanding your business nitty-gritty. What am I doing differently? What am I doing? What is this product or service solving? It's extremely important for you as a business owner to honor that and to understand that, because you're going to be speaking about your business in several places. So if you don't understand your business, it's going to be hard for you to sell your business. Before you even get to a point where you're able to bring in marketers if you need to your business, you are the first number one selling point of your business. So if you're not able to talk about your business, then nobody will be able to buy from you or even buy into your vision of that business. So in describing your product or service description, please go into proper details of what that looks like and what you need to do to actually get your business up and running. And then your marketing and sales strategy. How do you intend to reach your target market? Right? How do you intend to promote your products? Are you using word of mouth? Do you have to build a website? Do you have to use social media? Are you doing a product that requires human connection or just online? So you need to understand what your marketing and sales strategy is. How do you want to get people to pay for your product? Do they have to do cash? Does it have to be by cash? Or can people do transfer? Can people just pay online? You need to think about what that is. How do you want to connect your customers to your products, and how does that sale go down? So it's extremely important for you to think through that as well. And then, of course, your financial projections. This is the detailed financial statements, which the financial projections is really just how much have you put into the business? In that amount of money that you put into your business, what can it come out as? How much can it come out as? And is there going to be any profit in that? Right? So if you know that you started your business with 5,000 naira, and in 2 months, that 5,000 naira can translate to 20,000 naira. What does that mean? How many products do you have to sell to become 20,000 naira? Right? That's really just what financial projection means. If you started your business in January and you say by June, you want to have made 500,000, how do you break that down to know how many of those products you need to sell to be able to get to 500,000 by June? That's what your financial projection is really about. So if you are selling a product for 100 naira and you need to get 500,000 naira by June, just do that math. That means you need to sell 5,000 of those products to be able to get to that amount. What do you need to sell 5,000 of those products? Right? That's where financial projections come in. So it's extremely important for you to understand that. And then, of course, your team. A lot of times we start businesses by ourselves. We're our team. My first business that I started, I was producer. I was production manager. I was market. I was the one going to market. I was social media. I was designer. So at a point, your management team is you. But as the business grows, you're going to be able to pull in people into your business. And what does that mean? What kind of experience do you need? You need to think through the various processes that your business needs and design who the right person for that role is, based on their expertise, based on their experience. You need to be able to identify who you need, what you need. Sometimes it could even be a friend or a family relative that actually has some of those skills when you're starting the business that you can pull in as a partner, to work with you. But you can identify some of those needs that you don't have as a person, some of those skills that you don't have, and find somebody else to fill that role for you. Because at a point, it's going to be very tiring for you to be able to do all of those things by yourself, And then, of course, so appendix is really just supporting documents, your market research, any data that you've used. If you've used somebody else's data, it's good to actually just put it out there so that people know where you actually sourced your information from. If you did any surveys, especially when you're doing your market analysis, it's important that you have that at the as part of your document as well, so that you have a clear and concise business plan, not just for yourself, like I said, or not just for the market, but for yourself. It's extremely important for you to understand your business. Please don't joke with, the business plan. It doesn't have to be perfect. You can always start from somewhere, which is why I said the growth mindset is extremely important as an entrepreneur. You have to keep going. You have to keep making it better from time to time. If after 3 to 6 months, you go through your business plan and a few things have changed, update your business plan. There's also something that we call the business model canvas. That one is like a one-page business plan that really just speaks to your business and identifies certain segments that are required, for you to be able to run successful businesses. So the idea is these documents are not set in stone. Just like life is not set in stone. There are documents that can keep going. There are documents that should be updated from time to time as things are moving, as the world is changing, as the economy is changing. What do you need to tweak? So I'll give an example with the way that dollar is going now. Somebody who had done a financial projection in January, your financial projection now cannot be the same, can never be the same. Firstly, cost of products have gone up, cost of operations have gone up. So whatever you think that you could have made as profits in January, I can bet everything that you're not making that as profit right now. So how are you putting that into your financial projections? What are you changing? What do you need to add? Do you need to increase the price of your products? Do you need to shut down some products that are not selling? Do you need to, improve on your marketing and sales strategy so that you can reach more people? So these are some of the reasons why your document must keep changing and, getting updated from time to time, because the world of business is moving, the world itself is moving, and you cannot be left behind. Next slide, please. Now, one of the most important conversations when you're trying to start a business is money. It's money. I mean, I like money. That's why I'm smiling. It's money. It's extremely important. A lot of times, a lot of people have ideas, but they're not able to actually push it out as business because they don't have money to start it. So how do you think through money? Where do you get money from? Where do you get money from? How do you get money to start your business, to buy the equipment that you need, to buy the products that you need, the inputs that you need, the raw materials that you need to even just start in the first place? Where do you get it from? A lot of businesses start by bootstrapping, and bootstrapping is really just self-funding your startup. And self-funding is really from yourself. It could be from your family, it could be from your friends, it could be from anyone around you. That is not necessarily a structured way of getting money, but people just believe in you and they give you money. So you can go and meet your mom, your dad, your brothers, siblings, sister, cousin, anybody, and just say, look, I want to start this business. I need 10,000 naira. Can you please give me 10,000 naira? And a lot of times they give you, sometimes they don't, but a lot of times they do. But it's really just thinking, bootstrapping is really just thinking, how do you start small? What do you need? What are your low-hanging fruits? What is that thing that you can start with, that can actually just push that can actually push your business forward? And then, of course, the most common one are also bank loans. Bank loans, where can you go? What banks are giving, student-friendly loans or women-friendly loans or SME-friendly loans? What is available? Do they require collateral? or do you go with credit history, or because you're an SME now? Now we know that a lot of banks are becoming very SME friendly, and they are providing, some funding opportunities for businesses to be able to take advantage of. So sometimes a lot of loans right now don't necessarily need collateral, depending on the amount that you're going for. But can you actually approach a bank, to take a loan? And then angel investors. Angel investors are really just people who invest in new businesses, right? They are high net worth individuals. High net worth just really means they have plenty money, right? So they have money and they are willing to put in some of that money into your business. A lot of times they might want to take shares from your business, which means that at the end of the day, the business will not be owned by only you again, but it will be owned by you and them in a way that you both have agreed on. So that's one of the things that is coming up now, that we're beginning to see quite a bit of, angel investors, and how they are able to infuse money into businesses that they believe in, businesses that they see that have viability, and they're willing to actually put their money. And a lot of times, one of the differences, angel investors will also act as mentors for you. They will handhold you. You're able to go to them, to really just say, look, I'm going through this problem. Or they even see it and identify and say, look, I think you need X here, you need Y there. So they're able to mentor you in that process, because they've put money into your business and they want your business to succeed as much as possible. And then one of the ones that we're beginning to see that is evolving a lot more now is also venture capital. Right, this is where investor firms provide funding. This one, they will take a huge chunk of your business normally, but your business is owned by them, and at the end of the day, there's a buyout, and everybody is happy. Some of these companies that go through this process are companies like Konga, Jumia, and the rest of them that have now become, what they call them, have become what's the word? When I remember the word, I'll put it. But then also there are grants that are available, right? It's extremely important to understand that there are grants available for different businesses at different times in different sectors. So it also depends on where your business is. Sometimes you're able to get grants from government, sometimes you're able to get grants from private sector. But there are grants that are available that really just boost, businesses that may be going through tough times, or really just to support, some of these things. I'll share again 2 examples. Well, one actually. Two, but from this kind of like from the same thing. During COVID, we had some federal government grants that came out, for micro businesses, for nano businesses, business women in the market, where they were able to just give them grants of 50,000, 100,000 to be able to help them to continue their regular daily activities, to be able to source for, raw materials that they use. We also saw during COVID, I worked on a project one time where USADF gave about 3 million naira grants to women-owned businesses to support their recovery from COVID-19 as well. So a lot of women-owned businesses were affected. This is because a lot of women-owned businesses were not online at the time. So people were not able to access them. They were not able to continue their markets. So money was pumped into their business to keep them alive, right? So sometimes there are grant opportunities that come like that. There are opportunities that, people just say, what, I have 1 million naira, I want to give to 5 businesses. And Ugumba even does that actually. Ugumba gives money. I've witnessed Ugumba give money to in 5 years now. Mr. Remy, please, I hope I'm right. 5 or 6 years, or maybe even more. At the end of the year, you come, you pitch your business, and they give you money to pump into your business to help your business thrive. So there are grant opportunities that are like that. And I mean, this is me just using the opportunity to say kudos to Ugumba. Yes, thank you for that clap. Kudos to Ugumba that continues to give grants, to support, young businesses, as they go. Next slide, please. Okay. So this one of the mistakes that we make as entrepreneurs, even from the beginning, is we don't define what our team can look like. And in defining what your team look, it doesn't mean that you have to have them there at that time, but based on the processes that your business will go through, based on the processes or systems that you have to build into your business. And systems is really just, how do you do things in your business? If somebody needs to go to the market to buy products, how is that done? If somebody needs to design a product in the store, how is that done? If somebody needs to attend to a customer, how is that done? These are just systems and processes. But it's extremely important that you must think through a team, because the goal is, when you're starting a business, you want to grow, right? You want to grow. So you must identify what you are going to need as you grow. The problem is a lot of businesses don't put this kind of systems down, don't put this kind of structure down. So when they are growing, they are unable to take that growth in, and then the businesses begin to fail. So in thinking through your business, you must think about building a team, define the roles, clearly define the roles, responsibilities, and expectations of each team member. Some of these roles, even at the beginning, are roles that you are doing, but just identify them as roles, right? Like I said, when I started one of my businesses, I was marketer. I was the one going to market to buy products. I was doing the juices. I was building the recipe for the juices. I was the one that was doing social media. These are all different roles. If you want to combine a few of them, fine. But if you want to identify them as individual roles and you put somebody there, fine. But just put those structure down. When you're thinking through Mary that does cake, right? Are you the one that does the baking? Are you the one that goes to buy the raw materials? Are you the one that does the marketing? Are you the one that does the recipe building? Are you the one that does the design? Just think through what the different processes are and identify those as roles and see the ones that you can combine, see who and what you can put together and create a role for that person, so that eventually, when your business is expanding, you know what you are looking for and you are able to build a solid team. And then you want to seek out to recruit talent, which is really just talking about bringing people into your business that have complementary skills. If you bring two people into your business that are both designers, when your business is not big enough to accept two designers, then it might be a problem. And there's also going to be repetition of activities. So understand what you need. That is not what the skill that you have. So anybody you are bringing into your business should have complementary skills. This is skills that really just support your own skills, not necessarily be the exact same skills that you have. So that where there's a gap, because of course, like I said at the beginning, you cannot be everything to everyone. And it's the same thing for your business. You cannot be everything to your business at all times, right? So what do you need? Who do you need to complement what you're currently doing? And then the culture. How do you want to foster collaboration? You see this work culture, which is why some people will tell you, oh, my office is very toxic, this is very toxic. It's culture. It's extremely important. What kind of culture do you want to build in your organization or in your business, right? Do you want a team that values teamwork, that values communication, that values innovation? And one of this is where somebody comes to you with an idea and you shut it down like, oh, you're talking nonsense. You don't have sense. What kind of stupid idea is that? No idea is wrong. It might not be the right timing. It might not be the right description of that idea, but no idea is wrong. So how do you want to communicate this to your people? That's in you thinking through how you're developing your culture. So even in your schools right now, you probably have a way in which you go to leadership of the school and approach them for particular issues or things that you are going through. It's a culture. Are you free to go and meet any of your lecturers to discuss issues with them? Are you free to meet Mr. Remy right now, Seth, to even say, Mr. Remy, these are our classes, the timing is not working for me or something? What is that culture, that you are building? And it's extremely important. It's not just for us personally, but also for our businesses. Next slide. Yeah, so there are some resources that are available for entrepreneurs. Now, I won't say that entrepreneurship is easy, but it is more accessible because there are free resources that are available online. There are free resources that are available, from organizations, from government to private sector to online platforms. There's almost nothing these days that you cannot at least, but the fundamentals, there's almost nothing that you cannot learn online. There are online resources, there are business plan templates that you can really just Google, download, edit, put your own information right there, and just continue to use that. There's market research data. You can go on Google now and say how many entrepreneurs in Nigeria, how many of those entrepreneurs are women, what sectors do they work in, how many fashion designers are doing this and doing that. You can check for data that is available online as well. And there's financial management tools. So you can actually go online and download a financial projection template from online now. There are several. So please take advantage of all of the resources that are available to entrepreneurs right now. There are networking events, there are programs like this that we're having. And I do hope that you're connecting with your colleagues online in your various groups, because one person's knowledge is not enough. You must be able to tap from one another. How are you connecting with yourselves? How are you sharing insights and gaining, sharing insights, sharing advice, with one another? How are you encouraging yourself to remain resilient, even with everything that's going on in the economy. There are tax incentives. Keep yourself informed on knowledge. Keep yourself informed on what is available. Every day government is releasing one thing or the other. Private sector is releasing one opportunity or the other. How are you keeping yourself informed on all that is going on? And then finally, explore potential partnerships. I think for me, this is one of the most important things as you're going into your entrepreneurial journey. We're not designed to do life alone. So you must explore partnerships. Sometimes you might not be able to do things on your own. Sometimes you don't have the resources to do things on your own. Sometimes it's just even easier, sometimes doing it with the right person, I'll close by sharing a story of, one of the businesses that my friend and I started. And we went into farming. And I mean, I'll save you the details of all of that, but we even went into a loss, but we did not lose our minds, because two of us will sit down today and we can abuse the community, we can abuse the entire process, we can feel a type of way about it, but because it's two of us, we can make light of the situation in a sense and move on from that. But a lot of times you are doing business on your own, you will accept the failure by yourself, you will accept defeat by yourself. It's a lot of work just being and doing things by yourself. Mental health is it's not a joke. So it's extremely important to look for partnerships where they are. Sometimes you don't have to be everything to your business, right? You don't have to be. You can partner with a logistics company to take your pastries out or to deliver your clothes for fashion. Because we are thinking logistics does not mean you have to have a bike. Not every business has to have a bike, right? You can partner with other organizations, partner with other people that are providing solutions to really just bring more value, to your business. So I think that's the last slide. We can take questions, comments, if there are now.
That's a fantastic session. I'm so happy that it's happening. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Madam Weyinmi, for being available to us despite your tight schedules. It's really amazing. This very, very important session. And I'm sure that we got value. Oh, Adeyemi Olufemi, you are there. Olufemi, how are you? Okay. Yeah. You say you want to speak? Go ahead and speak now.
I've got two questions. The first one is, you did mention about, say, for example, having two designers when your business does not need two designers, right? But what if your business is seasonal and at that season you need two designers, and then later on you don't need them, maybe for another couple of 3-4 months, and then another 1 month again you need them again. So how do you sort of manage that seasonal role? And there's some roles that you can't bring people in seasonally, so how do you sort of scale through during that period when the role is seasonal?
I think you answered the question. It's seasonal, so put them on contracts. You don't have to employ them as full-time staff, right? For that season, put them on contracts. You can even put them based on a particular project, right? So if you have two designers who may not necessarily need to work on the same project at the same time, engage them based on the projects and put it on contractual basis. Very simple. After that project is done, till we need them again. If they're available for the next time, fine. If they're not available, fine. We move on and we find other people. But you don't want to hold them down where you're paying you're paying salaries to people who there's a downtime where you actually don't need their services. If your business can absorb the shock, the financial shock, fine. If it cannot, then just put them on contract based off of the seasons that you need them.
Okay. So a follow-up question is, and how do you sort of manage the onboarding into every time? So if they are not available, right, and then you need to get another designer again, that takes a long time to onboard, and you don't have that time to always do onboarding process for the next project and things like that.
So build your SOPs. It's simple. You have to build the standard operating procedures.
Okay.
How is the onboarding done? What do you need to know? What are the processes that you're going to be involved in? It's very simple. For everybody who contacts, regardless of whether you have even used them before or not, let everybody go through that standard operating procedure. Let that be your onboarding process, right? When they go through that, then they come to you and you ask questions just to gain clarity that they've understood what that SOP is about, who they are reporting to, who is checking their designs, who is approving the designs, who is, you get what I mean?
Okay.
So in building of your SOP, all of those steps will be there. You know, what is required, when the process will be done, the timeline for the process, who they are reporting to, who else is involved in that process. You need to use that to build out, you know, what your onboarding process looks like. And that should really just help, you know, with that. So you don't have to do a personal onboarding all the time. Your onboarding now gets to the point where it's really just a matter of clarity to be sure that they understand, you know, the SOPs that you've built out for them.
Oh, okay. All right. Thank you. Second question. So, what do you look out for in your business that makes you know that you need money? Because a lot of people say my business need money. Actually, they don't need money. They only need maybe networking, or they need some sort of partnership. For me, I run a SaaS-based solution, and I'm finding it difficult to convince myself that I need money. Because of course, business is making money, and I just pull back the money into it, and it's been growing, but I think it's not growing as fast as it should. But at the same time, I still don't have that conviction that I need money. So, what are the pointers to look out for in my business that will make I need money?
So, the first thing for taking money is expansion, or improving, or increase of productivity. That's when you need money, which is why people take loans and they're not able to pay back, because the money goes into the places that they don't need the money. So I'm glad that you've identified that you don't necessarily need the money now. What you do need now is your marketing strategy. How do you ensure that more people know about your business? When that business gets to the point where you have more demand than you can provide, that's when you need money. But if you've not gotten to that point yet, there's no need for you to take money. Now what you need to focus on is, what do you need to do? What do you need? PR? Do you need marketing? Do you need more partnerships? Do you need more collaborations? What do you need to put your business out there to ensure that more people, you know, become aware of what you are offering? Do you understand? So I'm happy you know that your business doesn't need money. Don't take money when your business doesn't need money, unless you've gotten to that point where demand is now more than, you know, what you can provide for. When you get to that point, yes. But for now, please focus on pushing your business out there. You know, what rooms do you need to be on? Sometimes you actually just need to speak on one platform. It's one engagement, right? You just need to be in one meeting for people to be aware. You need to walk into MTN or walk into a tech company that needs your products to say, look, these are the kind of things that we're offering. Can we do a tester? You know, we can do it free of charge for 1 month, and let's see what people say about it. And then after that, we can offer a charge. But it's really just putting your business out there a lot more so that people become aware, and that really just increases demand of the service or product that you're providing.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, so do we have more questions? Onyala Light, do you want to speak?
Good afternoon,
Hello?
sir.
Okay, Mary. Okay, good. Mary, go ahead.
Okay, good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon, ma. Thank you so much for this afternoon.
I can't really hear you, Mary.
Mary, speak up, please.
Can you hear me now?
Try. It's there, but it's not very clear. Keep going.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, a lot better.
Fantastic.
Okay, good afternoon, ma. Good afternoon, sir. Thanks so much for the class. Yeah, it was really impactful. I already learned so much. Yeah, my name is Mary Fadi, and I'm a student of this city university. So for me, in a private university, we are not allowed to cook. We are not allowed to we are restricted in a kind of way. And because I'm into pastries, like I went to a catering school, so I really want to focus on snacks like chin chin, plantain chips, potato chips, and all those ones can last longer. Like if I produce them during the holiday and then take them to school. But one more problem I have, even though I've not started, is what if I get sold out before the end of the semester or the end of the session? Then how do I get back? Because students will look like, okay, she's on serious or something, and when they are demanding or they are making orders and I don't have what to give them. So that's been a major concern for me. I don't know if you get my point, ma.
I get your point, my darling. So if you normally go to school, and I think the answer is simple. It's two throngs, right? One, if you normally go to school with 100 pieces of that product and it finishes before the end of school, maybe you want to increase, go with 200. right? Because clearly you have a demand for that product, so you need to improve on your productivity. Second is, I don't know what the system is, if you guys have visiting days or something. If you have somebody, you can train somebody in the house to do it, in the way that you do it, so that where there's a demand, you can send a message home to say, look, go and produce 100 pieces for me and then send it to me in school. So it depends on how you want to look at it, right? Are you able to employ someone? And like I said to Olufemi, it's really around contracts. You know that for production cycle of 100 pieces or 100 packs of plantain chips, this is how much you get paid. 1% of, if you sell one pack for 200 naira, 10% of one pack is 20 naira. For production, you make 20%, 10% of one pack. Do you understand? You need to think through what that mathematics will look like. But are you able to actually train that person to produce for you, right, when you're not there? Or you want to just simply increase the capacity of what you're already taking to school in the first place?
Yes, I get that, Mark. Thank you, Mark.
Yeah.
All right. Do we have any more? Okay, Adeyemi, you want to come back?
Yeah, sorry. So what's your advice with equity versus giving? So for example, I probably identify some sort of partnership or someone I know that if the person comes on board, all I need from the person is the person's network versus giving the person equity. And what rate, what clause should be in the
So
contractual?
before you go to equity, have a letter of agreement first, an LOA,
Okay.
and test out that model, because people will tell you they have networks. You enter the network, see that network cannot give you anything. So do a letter of agreement and know that, have a contract based off, if anybody that you introduce to this business that buys a product from us, we give you 5% or we give you 10% of that transaction. Do you understand?
Okay.
Test that out first before you go into equity, because you don't want to give part of your business to the wrong set of people.
Okay.
Right? So start with a letter of agreement first. It's a simple partnership. Let's explore what this partnership can look like. If your network brings in, even you as a business owner, there's a network that you get into, you understand that or more, this is value, and you actually want that person, you want to use equity you are the one that will now want to use equity to tie the person down. Do you understand? Yeah, but test it out first and see that person's network is actually the net worth that they claim it to be, and then see what goes on from there.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you so much. I think we have to call it a day here. I can't see anyone raising hands again. So, Madam Woman Entrepreneur, thank you so much. It's really amazing. She's in charge of women entrepreneurs across the country, and she has proved that to all of us listening to her this afternoon. It's a privilege. Okay, I think Olufemi, you should know her. Okay, Eribo, Weyinmi, Olufemi was part of the 2020. Was it 2020 or 2021 Enterprise Challenge?
It was 2020.
Okay, that's why I don't know him. Was that in 2020? I think it was 2021.
Yeah, I think yes. You joined us in 2021. Yeah. Okay, that's why I don't know him. And he's building a big business. Prodigy Solutions is in the UK. He's also in the US. Right? I think you're speaking to us from the UK, right?
Yes.
Okay, fantastic. So you can see
well
the
done.
kind of questions. Yeah, the kind of questions.
Yeah, from his kind of questions, I could tell. So yeah.
yes. The blessing is there. Blessing, can you speak up? We've not heard from you. Blessing is just one of the latest millionaires that Goomba just produced. Blessing, can you speak? Let's hear you. She won the 3rd position last year, or the 4th position. Blessing, are you still there? Okay, she doesn't want to know how much she wants to know how much she's making. Okay, no problem. Okay, Blessing, you don't want us to know how much you're making. Okay, let me invite Audrey from is it Tanzania? Audrey, please, can you say hello to us before we close? She joined us from Ghana or Tanzania. Oh, they don't want to talk. Okay, Mario, where are you joining us from? Mario, Musu Mario. Who's that? Audrey? Okay. She doesn't want to talk. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So please, it's time for us to let her go. She's very busy. Like I said, a lot of things, she's cooking. And I'm sure, I hope you have time to join us this year for the Enterprise Challenge. Because I can see her touring around the world. She's doing a lot of work.
I'll be there. I'll be there. I most likely
Yes,
will.
yes. Very
Yes,
good.
but thank you so much for this. I need to run. I have another.
Yes,
I told you I have a
know.
program this evening. We have to prepare for.
Yes,
Yeah.
I know that so much. So please, if
But I
you
mean, if
want
there
to
are any other questions, please, Mr. Remy, feel free to send them
Yes.
my way. I'll be very happy to, send
Very
in
good,
response.
very good. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. We have on behalf of our president, His Excellency Wumba Uchemosu, I want to thank you so much for always being part of our work at the Wumba Leadership Center. Thank you so much, and God bless you, man. Thank you.
Thank you all so much. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.